Good morning, Thailand. My name is Alex, and I have some news updates from around the land of smiles for you today, this Thursday, August 1st. Please, if you have not yet, do like and subscribe. It does help the channel out a lot. Now, let's get into the headlines. Our first story is about a man named Ian Heddle, a Scottish former footballer who has been arrested for crimes against children in Thailand. Ex-footballer Ian Heddle has been jailed for 4 years for child abuse in the land of smiles. Heddle, 61, who played for Scottish clubs in the 1980s and 90s, was found with 270,000 indecent images and 4,000 videos of children. Arrested in Edinburgh Airport in February 2023, Heddle admitted to possessing and making the material. 3 videos showed him abusing a young Thai girl in Thailand and identifiable by his distinctive wedding band. The National Crime Agency and Royal Thai Police worked together to ensure the child's safety. Heddle received a 6-year extended sentence, including 2 years on license, and was placed on the sex offenders registry indefinitely. Sick guy. Absolutely nasty, disgusting stuff. Very interesting that these international organizations are working so carefully together, particularly in a region of the world where we see so much, sexual crime, sex abuse, human trafficking, that kind of stuff is no stranger to this region of the world. And many of the perpetrators are indeed disgusting Western guys. So this is just one more example of it where the authorities are able to catch up to him. Now, if you ask me, that crime, 4 years behind jail, that seems a bit light for considering the sheer amount of images that he had, hundreds of thousands, not to mention the videos that he himself admitted to recording. So I hope that there's a reconsideration about the kind of punishment that is doled out to a person like that. But at the very least, he is, this is somebody who is a bit, higher profile that is landing in some hot water and actually serving some jail time, which can be shocking considering how we see so many rich and powerful people get out of these situations one way or another. Glad to see he didn't completely fall through the cracks. All right, let's see. Shano says, yeah, pedo. Oh my God, great they caught him. Isn't that the truth, man? Yeah, it sucks. I hope the girls that have been abused are able to recover from that trauma and live a fulfilling life without having to think about that disgusting person. All right, now on to our next story. We're on a high-speed chase over in Ayutthaya as police are led by a drunk driver careening through the streets. That's right, a drunk driver in Ayutthaya led police on a high-speed chase along the Payon Yotin Road. Now, Mongkol, 38, was driving a red pickup truck with loudspeakers and was reported for erratic driving and playing loud music. Upon police arrival, he attempted to flee, leading to a dangerous chase. He was eventually stopped at kilometer 49 and found with blood alcohol concentration of 234 milligrams, I guess it's about 0.234%. Mongkol admitted to drinking and driving, warning others against the practice. He faces charges including reckless driving, disobeying police orders, and exceeding the legal alcohol limit. Do as I say, not as I do. You know, it's funny, like people do all sorts of bad things, and as soon as they're caught, they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But you know, if they weren't caught, they'd be at it again the next day and the next day and the next day. So these kind of bad habits can only be broken with a little bit of consequence for, taking responsibility for your action. Crazy stuff too, man. Like high-speed chase with police, and then throw in the fact that the guy's drunk. We're lucky that this story isn't more tragic, but yeah. Anyways, don't do it, everybody. I always tell you the cost of getting a grab or a bolt is much lower than ruining your life in such spectacular fashion. All right, now on to our next story. We're back in the world of football, and this one was just a weird one to me, so I wanted to share it with you guys because I did not think that this kind of crime existed in Thailand. Now, a car wash cover-up. The DSIs found football feeds behind Suds and soap. That's right, the Department of Special Investigation raided a car wash shop in Bangkok's Klong Samwa district, uncovering an illegal football broadcasting network. The site, part of a larger syndicate with 100 mule accounts and 1.2 billion baht in circulation, also hinted at online gambling and cannabis cultivation. The network, with over 30,000 members, caused financial damages exceeding 2.9 billion baht. Arrest warrants were issued for 5 key suspects, including businessmen, politicians, and police officers. This goes all the way to the top. 2 suspects were arrested in Songklan and faced charges of breaching broadcasting rights and money laundering. The DSI continues to investigate the network's activities. Well, what a syndicate. I mean, you know, sports streaming can be very expensive, particularly if you want to watch all of the big matches. Here is a way that many people found out how to get around things. But I'll tell you, man, like sports streaming in Thailand, pretty cheap, actually. I'm a big fan of the UFC card, so I like to watch UFC fights. And, you know, there are some piracy streams that I could indulge in, but at the end of the day, on my True ID, I think it's only like 99 baht I have to pay to get a pay-per-view. So, you know, that's compared to about $80 you have to pay in America. Seems like a reasonable fee. But, you know, where people can cut corners with these artificially scarce products like sports, that's money to be made. Now, apparently, almost to the tune of 3 billion baht. We'll see how far this goes, because apparently everybody from the police to politicians are involved in this scandal. We'll keep it covered for you, let you know with some updates in the future. All right, let's see. Oh, Elliot asked about the last story. Do you see those TV campaigns discouraging people not to drink and drive? The campaign is prevalent on Thai TV channels. You know, this is an interesting concept here in Thailand. There's a very famous commercial where you see this guy like stuck in a circle of alcohol abuse, but then he eventually gives up the alcohol and he starts making something with his life. It's an iconic commercial. So there's certainly propaganda campaigns here to try and curb the negative effects and the negative impacts of drinking. Even in Thailand, it's very famous. You cannot advertise, right, beer bottles and things like that. You cannot advertise liquor brands or anything. That's why you see Singa soda water everywhere, or Leo, whatever, Leo ghost branding without actually showing the alcohol. So yeah, they do take that seriously, but you know, anywhere where alcohol is legal, you're going to have alcohol-related problems eventually, unfortunately. Ruining the fun for the rest of us. Jerks. All right, anyways, King Kiji has that question. Anyone renting a place in Samui in the winter? Maybe me. I'm going to look out for that. I need to get back down there. All right, next one, we're heading into some interesting geopolitical drama, as the U.S. is urging Thailand to release Vietnamese activist facing extradition. So U.S. Congress members have urged Thai Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin to release Vietnamese activist Y Kun Bidap, who faces extradition. Bidap, a founder of Montagnard's Stand for Justice advocating for ethnic minorities' religious freedom, was arrested in Bangkok. Now, this is despite holding UN refugee status, and he is charged with terrorism by Vietnam following riots in Dak Lak, though he was in Thailand at the time. The National Human Rights Commission and Human Rights Watch have called for his protection, emphasizing Thailand's international obligations. Now, Bidap's hearings are set for today and later this month, August 19th. Yeah, that's a weird one, man, especially because of the, you know, the mouthpiece that people have and their ability to influence things from afar. Obviously, that's what the Vietnamese government is trying to place on this man, saying that he was an orchestrator and somewhat responsible for the riots that broke out over in Bangkok. Or, sorry, I said that wrong, I think, but in that region of Vietnam. Here, though, the world is watching as high-level U.S. diplomats and the United Nations are urging Thailand to consider its obligations to other to human rights and activism. We will see as this court plays out which pressures will win out and which way Thailand will go in making the decision about what to do with this activist. All right. Anyways, moving on to our next story, we're going to be talking about a Chinese woman who has been rescued from a 15 million baht virtual kidnapping. That's right. Thai police rescued 21-year-old Chinese woman Wang Jiabao in Bangkok from a virtual kidnapping scheme by a call center scam gang demanding 15 million baht from her parents. Her father, Liang Lui Hua, reported the case to Thai, Chinese, and Japanese police. Wang was tracked through security footage and found safe in her Bangkok condominium. She was manipulated by scammers posing as Chinese police who tricked her into transferring 2.5 million baht and staging a fake kidnapping. The gang targets Chinese students abroad, with previous cases in Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. What a weird series of stories. We've done this one a few times now, including, in those other Western regions where students from China are going out and getting an education abroad. This is something that always frustrated me about teaching in China. Chinese students are not prepared for the world, largely, I have to say. Like, some of them have been well-traveled. Many of them get good education, speak English great. But many of the students get exported without true preparation for what can happen to them in these other countries, right? So they're so used to just living in that very, very closed-off Chinese ecosystem. They don't understand how the wider world can operate in these really terrible ways. So that's the funny thing. The girl was never truly in danger. She was just falling for things. She was gullible and just believed that she was in trouble. So it's very interesting that all of these scam artists see these Chinese students as very easy prey. So be careful, guys. Be careful who you're talking to online. I basically don't answer a phone call or an email unless I've physically met the person before. So do take care of yourselves, all you Chinese students out there in the diaspora. Diaspora? How do I pronounce that, guys? Please help me out. All right, on to our last story of the day for Thailand before we get into the ASEAN news. We're talking about blood. You've got it, I've got it, and if you've got O negative in Phuket, you are sorely needed. An urgent call for O negative blood donations has been made by the RH Emergency Donation Group in Phuket to help a Frenchman in need. Due to the rarity of this blood type in Thailand, the plea emphasizes the importance for donation from Westerners. The Phuket Red Cross is the designated donation site, and recent updates allowed donors from the UK, France, and Ireland to contribute. The group highlighted the critical need for O negative blood and urged eligible donors to step forward to save a life. That's not me. I'm B positive. Unfortunately, I cannot fly down and help this poor man. But if you are in the Phuket area, do consider not even, this isn't just about O negative. Obviously, if you have that, definitely there is a priority for your blood type. But anybody in Phuket, anybody in Bangkok, there's plenty of blood donation centers. It's always going to a good cause. You're always saving a life. So, but yes, urgently, O negative, get your butts down there and start donating so you can have a really direct impact on that community. All right, well, that'll do it from our news stories from around Thailand. We will now head into our news about ASEAN. Also, do please go to thetiger.com to get more of those updates from Thailand. But first, we are heading over to Laos and actually... yeah, still Thailand, as Laos and Thailand mark the first direct passenger train between Bangkok and Vientiane. That's right, the first direct passenger train between the two capitals launched on July 19th, providing a 13-hour journey between the capitals of Thailand and Laos. This route, which extends beyond the previous terminus in Nong Khai, allows passengers to transfer to a high-speed rail line to Kunming, China. The inaugural journey was so popular that an additional carriage was added. Ticket prices range from $7 to $24. Plans are in place to eventually offer a high-speed rail connection between Bangkok and Vientiane. This is part of China's Belt and Road Initiative to create a pan-Asian railway network extending all the way to Singapore. Yes, please. I always talk about this. We need more trains, man. Like they're much more energy efficient, I believe, than flying, although a bit slower. So that's good news. They want to put in these high-speed railways running on better technology than is presently available. Because I got to tell you, Bangkok to Vientiane is only about, an hour and a half, 2 hours by plane, 13 hours by train. That's still not going to convince a whole lot of people. However, what will convince them is that very low price tags. Down to $7 you can do for that kind of travel. That's going to be enticing for a lot of people. So good to see. Love a good infrastructure project. How this will play out and how it will shape transportation, not just of passengers, but also of cargo. It's going to have a big impact on the economies of these countries. So cool to see it playing out and actually making a difference. All right. Shano says... what is it? Railway adventures would be good. Agreed. I love traveling by train. Elliot says, hopefully the high-speed trains will replace the commuter trains in the near future. You know what, though? Thailand, they don't like things moving that fast, man. So, you know, there's a lot of markets like near the train railways. They need time to hear the train coming so they can get out of the way rather than be left a red mist after the bullet trains come through. We'll see. I'm just kidding. Of course, they'll make new rail lines, things like that. But the old train systems, they're historic. They have a big part of the cultural identity here in Thailand. All right, on to our next story. We're off to Indonesia, as that government is considering raising the smoking age limit in order to curb cigarette advertising. Now, Indonesia has raised the minimum age for purchasing cigarettes from 18 to 21 and implemented new health regulations to combat smoking effective immediately. These include banning the sale of single cigarettes, restricting sales within 200 meters of schools and playgrounds, and prohibiting cigarette sales and advertising on social media without age verification. Indonesia, one of the world's largest tobacco producers, has about 70 million smokers, with a significant number of young smokers. While some welcome the new regulations, critics argue that stricter enforcement and technical regulations are necessary to ensure effectiveness. The advertising restrictions will take effect in 2 years. Yeah, man, if you know anything about Indonesia, you know they have a big problem with smoking, particularly for the youth. You know, in many cases, in many parts of that country, it's still seen as sort of like a folk remedy, like sort of like one of those traditional cures to all sorts of ailments. You see weird clinics where they blow smoke on people and things like that. I think a lot of that culture is kind of dying out, and you can see that reflected in that the government is making this move against tobacco, and is probably going to generally have some support from the population. 18 to 21, I believe we're doing something similar in the States as well with tobacco too. It's dangerous, guys, and it's very habit forming and has a major impact on healthcare systems. So I think it's understandable to see governments taking steps to try and alleviate the kind of pressure that the smoking habit has later in life, because those costs add up over time. Sorry, smokers. You know, I'm very libertarian. I think you should be able to do whatever you like, but in terms of the impact on the overall system, you know, those taxes you pay on the cigarettes, that's got to help take care of healthcare costs later in life. At least that's my thought. My 2 cents. I know you didn't ask for it. All right, and now we're going to talk about our last story. We got a controversial one for the kids over in Malaysia. Now, the 1975 famous band has been sued over a Malaysia concert with lead singer Matt Healy's Kiss. The organizers of the Good Vibes Festival in Kuala Lumpur are suing British band The 1975 for about $2.4 million after singer Matty Healy criticized Malaysia's anti-LGBT laws and kissed a band member on stage, leading to the event's cancellation. The lawsuit, filed in the UK's High Court, claims the band breached performance rules, which prohibit political and religious discussions, swearing, smoking, and drinking on stage. I don't like to have fun over there. The festival organizers assert that the 1975 was aware of those rules, having performed there in 2016 and receiving multiple reminders. The band's actions have also drawn criticism from Malaysia's LGBT community, who argue it exacerbated their struggles. The band has not commented on the lawsuit. Well, okay, couple of things here. If you're thinking about the pro-LGBT stance of the band, again, you can see, I can tell you, I know a bit about celebrity gossip. Matty Healy is Taylor Swift's ex-boyfriend, and there was a lot of controversy surrounding that relationship because the man himself is very controversial. You can do your own research on that. But the point is, it was insensitive because, you know, you're in a more conservative country. They are still fighting for those LGBT rights. I know Malaysia is a neighbor to Thailand, which is very welcoming to that community. Malaysia is not. So there is their own political struggle. So if there was to be a protest to be done, it should have been done in advisement with those local communities, right? He's coming from a very Western perspective, which is very, you know, he's very pro-LGBT. He's not gay. He was still willing to kiss the man for the protest. That's heart probably in the right place on that, but he completely did it in the wrong way, and now he's being sued for it because after a cancellation of a concert, guess what? That's a lot of jobs lost, a lot of money lost as well. We'll see how that plays out over in the UK courts. All right. Anyways, that'll do it for our news stories from around Thailand and the greater region, ASEAN. Please do go to thetiger.com to get your news updates throughout the day. We're constantly uploading new and exciting news from around the land of smiles to keep you posted on what's going on. Also, do head over to ASEAN now and sign up, create an account, join the conversation. It's the largest expat community forum in Thailand and around the ASEAN region. So go check it out and, give us your opinions, your thoughts, some poems. Why not? Whatever. Tell me where to get good beer. Sorry, can't advertise that. I didn't mention a brand. We're good. But yeah, that'll do it for today. I'm going to get into the comments right now very quickly just to say goodbye to all of you.